Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to my brothers and sisters in Islam and salam to everyone else. This is Ali. This is probably going to be my last video on the subject. I'm going to be talking about freedom of speech, YouTube, and maybe a little bit of Islam in here. I might be making a video afterwards discussing how I believe to really speak out against fanatics and how it is wrongly done in today's society. But for right now, let me focus on the freedom of speech issue. To give you guys a little bit of a background, this video is really in response to a lot of comments that I've been getting recently. Basically what happened was recently there was a controversy regarding South Park creators creating a depiction of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I openly condemned some extremist Muslims who had threatened the creators of South Park with death threats. I openly condemned them in comments, in private messages, and on my previous video. Of course, that went ignored, and people are still insinuating that I do not talk out against fanatics, and are demanding that I do, else I be placed in with the fanatics or classified in the same light. Last time I checked, people usually don't have to apologize for or explain the actions of or go out and condemn the actions of individuals just because they look like them or because they have a very similar label. I have no problem trying to explain what my beliefs really teach, which I think is more constructive, and I have no problem distinguishing myself between the beliefs of the fanatics and my own. But I do have a problem with basically people demanding me to speak out, else they will threaten me with slander. Yeah, I really don't fall for that, and I don't really like to speak out against people just to appease others. It's not my fault that a lot of people out there are too bigoted and too stereotypical to, make the distinction themselves and to listen to what I have to say about my own beliefs. But going on, basically, what had occurred was that after all this drama, some individuals came onto my channel and started listening, or started saying some rather hateful comments, insulting comments, and some were just generally annoying. And then, there's a lot of negative comments, negative votes on my videos for no other reason than the fact that they were my videos. And basically that's all that happened, and I just basically blocked a couple people and deleted some comments. Now the accusation then that is being thrown at me now is that I am censoring them, Now I understand the value of free speech. I agree with free speech, the concept of free speech. I value it very highly, actually, and I value it so highly that I value another concept just as highly as this one. And that is the concept of personal property, whether it be physical or intellectual. And you see, here on YouTube we have things we call channels, and we have things we call videos from users, such as myself. And this is considered our intellectual property. Now, while of course YouTube moderates this content, it is still ours. And if we do not feel like, having somebody's comments on our channel, or we do not feel like accepting certain video responses, we're allowed to deny them, and we're allowed to even block users who may troll our channels or post hateful comments. This is not a sign of weakness. This is a sign of principle in respect to personal property and wanting to live a peaceful and happy life without having to deal with bigotry and stupidity on a daily basis. It is like sort of not allowing somebody to come into your home just to insult you, and basically kicking them out, if they do these things. And it seems to me that the people complaining about me censoring are like those individuals who would come into my house to insult me and my family, only to then later complain that I'm censoring their freedom of expression and speech by kicking them out of my living room, or kicking them out of my property. And I find this to be rather silly. Likewise, if I had a business and some customers being belligerent and and extremely offensive, I have the right to kick them out of my business because it's my business. I don't have to deal with that stuff. So, like the concept of freedom of speech, I also value very highly the concept of personal property, and I also highly value the concept of respect. And there's a lot of people out there that seem to believe that you must earn respect, and I agree with that. But that does not mean that automatically one earns disrespect. And if you show disrespect, then you will earn disrespect in return, and that includes me blocking you or deleting your comments. Okay, but see, that's actually justified. People seem to, at least even on YouTube, particularly, it seems, people seem to think that freedom of speech means unlimited speech, and that's not the case. Our society does not work that way. Western society does not work that way. I'm sorry, everyone. Like I said, there are such things as personal property. There is such thing as slander and libel. Those aren't protected under freedom of speech. And even in many areas in the Western world, hate speech is not protected under freedom of speech. So I'm sorry. You think I'm weak for deleting your comments and blocking you? Well, that's your issue. I happen to value all the ideas that I previously mentioned, and I value them so much that I wish to keep them as they are, pure in principle. And this means basically that I do not follow this ideology of unlimited speech. What else? What else to talk about? Oh yes. This also includes the fact that I really do think that when certain people out there like to criticize religious views, they will do something purely offensive, and they will call this criticism. And to me, this is not freedom of speech. This is actually a mockery of freedom of speech. See, freedom of speech is constructive, meaning that it's for the sake of letting ideas thrive. It's for the sake of letting people obtain knowledge. It's for the sake of letting criticism thrive. Real, rational discourse. When somebody draws a picture of a religious figure with bombs strapped to him, or puts Jesus, the crucifixion of Jesus, in a jar of urine on display, there really is no other motive behind it, simply for the fact that you want to be a jerk. I mean, that's really what it is. There's no other reason. Drawing a picture of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ with a bomb on his head is only an indication of hatred. It's only to incite a negative response. That is all it is for. It doesn't say, oh, I am criticizing fanatics and we should stop this and try to help the world. No, it's basically saying, this is what Islam is, or this is what a particular religion is, when looking at a different figure, or whatever, or drawing Jesus gay or something. This is what a religious figure is and does, and at the same time, that representation also represents the people who follow it. Now, you could say otherwise and say, well, no, we're criticizing the ideas, not the people. And that might be legitimate, but not in this case. I also find it quite ironic that many atheists would say this, despite the fact that they don't accept common theist claims that to hate the sin and love the sinner. But that's for a different time and video. I actually agree with that principle, and it's much more easily supported than the one that I'm arguing against right now. It's okay to attack the ideas. I agree. Attack the ideas constructively. Criticize them. Actually criticize them. Don't just make negative caricatures to piss people off. A lot of people out there know this. They know that what they're doing. They know that if they do certain things, they're going to incite a negative reaction. And they're only doing it to flex their freedom of speech muscle. They're only doing it to show that they're not afraid. That's all they're doing it for. It's not a criticism. Okay? It is simply to incite hatred from those who are being targeted, And it also incites hatred on the other side of the spectrum, believe it or not, um, because it basically says that it's okay to disrespect people. When you draw or you offend a religious figure, or you try to make this depiction where the followers of a particular ideology or religion are of a certain way, kind of like if I were to, I don't know, um, you know, have a cartoon about atheists, and all the atheists look like Stalin, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't go over very well. Um, when you do this, you really are just disrespecting the people. You're not really disrespecting the idea. And as a believer in these ideologies, we have a right to be offended, and we also have a right to try to boycott it and take it down. And that is real freedom of speech. Thank you.